Hello, grandchildren. Here is your favorite story time with Bahbee, Gaga, or Grammie. Maddie and Aubrey, I'm sure you are excited to have another one, as well as Jude and Elliot, and Clemmy also. Grammie and Bahbee and Gaga is super excited to do another story for you. So let's see what this one is going to be. We are going to read today Lions Mixed Up Friends. Once there was a lion, here's the lion, who lived by herself in the country. She had a cozy little house and a garden where she grew peaches and green beans. She took long walks in the meadow, and she liked to sit beside the pond and watch the ducks. She had a cow that gave her milk every day and a few chickens that gave her eggs. Can you see the chickens in the grass? And the lion is sitting by the pond watching the silly ducks. Nearby was a town where Lion's friends lived. Lion rode her bicycle into town almost every day to see them. And on the weekends, her friends came to the country to see her. They had a good time together. She has a yellow bicycle. One weekend in spring, Lion and her friends went bird watching. By noon, they had seen 23 different kinds of birds. Can you find all the different kinds of birds in this page? They're all in the tree. I see a cardinal. I see some robin's eggs in a nest. I see some unusual birds that don't usually go together. But on the way back to Lion's house for lunch, Lion got sick. All of a sudden, she felt terrible, and she had to go right home. She doesn't look very well, does she? Her friends called the doctor, and he sent her to bed right away. "Stay in bed for 3 days," said the doctor to Lion. "Someone will have to stay and take care of you." Wow, she's really sick. Do you see what kind of animal the doctor is? I believe that's an ostrich. "I'll take care of you, Lion," said her friend, the news reporter, "if someone will read the news for me on TV. "Oh," said Lion's friend, the singing teacher, who always wanted to appear on TV, "I'll read the news for you if someone will give my singing lessons." "Well," said Lion's friend, the dentist, who did not know much about singing, but was used to seeing people with their mouths open, "I'll give the lessons if someone will take care of my patients." "Perhaps I could help," the lion's friend, the hairdresser, said. He hesitated a moment, but then he decided that hairbrushes and toothbrushes were not so very different. He added, "My cousin, the librarian, is working now. He can do my hair cutting for me." So everything was settled. Lion rested in bed, and the news reporter stayed to take care of her. Early the next morning, the singing teacher arrived at the TV studio, but when it was time to read the news, he began to sing instead. He sang several songs, and he finished with one that he had made up himself. "I don't care about the news or the weather. I like to sing when we are together." And that is just what he did for the next 3 days. The people at home were astonished. You see them all gathered around the TV. "What's going on?" they said. But the cheerful singing kept them happy all week long. They even hummed and whistled when it rained. Meanwhile, the dentist told the singing pupils to open wide. When they began to sing, she shouted, "Wider, wider!" Then she began to check their teeth, saying, "Oh," and "ah," all the while. The students wondered what was happening. Finally, the dentist smiled and said, "Hurrah! No cavities!" The students felt so happy that they opened wide and sang like angels. Do you see them all singing with their mouths wide open? The dentist clapped her hands and shouted, "Bravo! What good lessons!" thought the students. They are very happy. In the dentist's office, the hairdresser greeted his first patient with a pair of scissors in his hand. "Don't worry," he said. "I'll be careful." As soon as the patient was in the dentist's chair, the hairdresser sprayed a little water into her mouth. "Good, good," said the hairdresser. Then, without another word, he began to cut the patient's hair. He worked so quickly that the patient hardly knew what was happening. When he was finished, the hairdresser held up a mirror and said, "Take a look." "Wow, look at what he did to the deer's hair." "Amazing," said the patient, really pleased. The hairdresser did such a good job with all the dentist patients that they almost forgot about their toothaches. Down the street, the librarian was not cutting hair. He was telling stories instead. Here is the librarian. "Once upon a time," he began, and then he told the most exciting stories in the whole world. He told stories about witches and ghosts and faraway places. The customers loved the stories, and they nearly forgot that they had come to have their hair cut. "Who cares about hair," they said, "when there are such good stories to listen to?" After 3 days, the lion recovered. She was soon up and about. Her friends returned to work, and life in town went back to normal. But Lion had become quite famous. "There goes Lion," the people said when they saw her bicycling into town, and they laughed a little. For a while, everyone was glad that Lion was back again, and she was well. They almost missed the mixed up and surprising things that had happened when she was sick. They said to one another, "Do you remember how funny things were?" A few weeks later, Lion gave a party to her friends for their help. The whole town came, and they played games and ate peaches in the meadow. Look at all those delicious peaches. And they're playing badminton. Or, they're playing volleyball with a soccer ball. Kind of looks like a soccer ball to me. Maybe it is a volleyball. In the evening, they built a campfire near the pond, and they told stories until late. They had a wonderful time, and they chuckled and laughed because most of the stories were about those topsy-turvy days when Lion was sick. Lion just felt lucky to have such good friends. The end. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story, It's a little difficult for me to read sideways, so I might have messed up a few things, but I really like reading stories to you kids. I wish you were here with Bahbee, Gaga, Grammie, at our house with Bailey and Papa, but you're at your own homes and you're trying to stay busy and trying to be good for your mamas and your daddies and your mommies. And I know you're doing the best you can. I will try to read another story in a little while, but I will send this one along so maybe you can enjoy it later. I love you all. Bye.